I was 11, I started working as a newspaper delivery boy. I had a new bike and was very excited to start earning my own spending money. My mother was a little worried about me being out alone so early in the morning, especially in the winter when it would be dark. However, our village in North Yorkshire was fairly quiet. Crimes happened occasionally, but they were usually things like shoplifting and drunken fights, nothing very serious. I'd been working for a local newsagent's for around 2 months. It was now mid-October and still dark at 6 a.m. when I started. I would work for around an hour and a half before returning home, putting my bike in the garage and entering the house. There was a door inside the garage that led inside, for which I had my own key. On this particular morning, I was about halfway through my round. It was particularly cold, so I stopped so I could put on my hat and gloves that I carried in my coat pockets. I was in a normally busy street, but because of the time there were no other people around. However, as I pulled on my gloves, I noticed the shadow of what appeared to be a person standing beside one of the houses to my right. I could see smoke rising from the figure, so I just assumed someone had gone outside for a smoke and didn't really think much about it. The house next to him had a light on in the hallway, so I just thought they had come from that building. I mounted my bike and rode away to the next house, wishing I was finished so I could go home for a hot drink. I left my bike near the curb, opened the gate, walked up the path to the door, and pushed the newspaper through the letterbox. As I returned to my bike, I thought I saw a figure next to some bushes across the road, but couldn't be quite sure, as it was only just starting to get light. I felt a little nervous, so hurried to my next delivery. There were only a few more left, but they were spaced quite far apart, so I still had a while to go. For the rest of that round, I felt more and more nervous. I had nothing to base it on, but I just had the feeling I was being followed. I saw nothing else suspicious, but I was pleased to return home to safety. I didn't bother telling my mother anything, because, after all, what was there to tell? Nothing had happened, and she would only be worried and possibly make me stop working if I did tell her. The next morning, I was a little more cautious, looking around me regularly, just in case I saw someone following me. But the round passed without incident. I arrived home and was just about to ride my bike into the garage when I heard a sound from inside. The hairs on my neck prickled, and I asked if there was anyone there. Perhaps a stray cat had wandered in, I thought. There was no reply. Our car was quite large and the garage pretty cluttered, so I didn't have a clear view of everything inside it. I thought I heard light breathing, as though someone was trying to be quiet about it. I yelled for my mother, but she must have been upstairs, as she didn't come out. Then I saw a shadow rise up from the back of the garage. I turned and ran, hearing hurried footsteps behind me. I ran around the side of our house and quickly scrambled over the fence, all the while shouting, hoping someone would hear me and come out. I was absolutely terrified. I had no key for the back door, so if whoever it was decided to come in after me, I would be trapped. I started banging on the door, waiting to be grabbed at any moment, but there was no sign of anyone. My mother threw open the back door, wondering why I was making so much noise. I pushed past her inside, crying, and told her to come in and lock the door, which she did. She was horrified when I told her what had happened and called the police immediately. They didn't take it too seriously, however, but did do some investigating. They went to the house where I told them I'd first seen the outline of a person smoking, but there was only an old woman living in the house. However, the person, whoever it had been, may not have been the person I saw in the garage. The actual person was never found. I had been so scared by what had happened that I never went back to work. I managed to get a Saturday job working for my cousin in his garage, mainly clearing up and making tea. It took a long time to get over what had happened. I still have nightmares every now and again about it. Nothing else ever happened, but I still wonder to this day who it was in our garage. Had I been followed home from my paper round by the person I thought I'd seen twice? Was it someone just wanting to get out of the cold and using our garage to get warm for a while? I never found out. Nowadays, I would never allow my kids to work alone as I did, especially in the dark. There are too many things that can go wrong. I try to balance between keeping an eye on them and allowing them space to do what they want. It's not easy. There are far too many creeps out there.